Today's episode is brought to you by the Positively Productive Toolkit, a collection of workbooks that guide you through self-discovery and self-awareness. These self-guided workbooks, which include links to assessments, can be completed in minutes. Request this free resource and others at the positivelyproductive.com/resources page. When you know what the priority is and what the non-negotiables are for the very next day, that's enough to take the edge off Sunday evening. See, the key here is to have something to guide you and help you be proactive. You're removing decision fatigue and uncertainty. And that's what your nervous system is actually asking for when Sunday dread arrives. You're listening to the Positively Living podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zawrotny, founder of Positively Productive Systems and a productivity coach certified in positive psychology and stress management. Join me as we explore ways to live a more proactive, positive life with episodes on productivity, self-awareness, mindset, entrepreneur life, habits and systems, simplicity, fun, and more. I understand overwhelm personally as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, wife and mom to kids and cats, and as a caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Welcome to the Positively Living podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and this episode is one I've wanted to do for a while in response to so many conversations I've had and posts I've seen about this topic. If Sundays elicit a kind of dread, a feeling of anxiety that shows up more and more as the day progresses, keep listening. You're going to feel so much better when this episode is over. The feeling I'm talking about even has a nickname, the Sunday Scaries. The name might be cute, but the experience is anything but. Today we're talking about what's actually happening when that dread sets in, and more importantly, what you can do about it. So why does Sunday feel the way it does? The Sunday Scaries are a real psychological phenomenon that happens in the context of a traditional weekend framework. What you're experiencing is anticipatory anxiety, where your brain projects forward into the unknown of the week ahead and treats that uncertainty like an immediate threat. And we know when we have an immediate threat, a feeling of being threatened, attacked, or we're being chased, we're going to have a physiological response to it. This phenomenon is widespread. A LinkedIn survey found that 80% of professionals experience the Sunday Scaries. That's a good starting point, but a very recent Rula Health study from early 2026 put that number at 88% of Americans. So if Sundays feel harder than you think they should for you, you are genuinely not alone. We focused on calming the nervous system last week in episode 314. So if you want the full picture on what's happening physiologically and the tools to help regulate that episode's a great companion to this one. What I want to focus on today is how to use that understanding to actually set yourself up for the week ahead in a way that's calm, intentional, and minimal enough to actually work for you and allow you to still enjoy your Sunday. Here's the thing about the Sunday dread. You can't think your way out of it. You can't logic your nervous system into relaxing. But what you can do is take action, because taking action calms anxiety. Just the act of doing something intentional interrupts the mental spiral. It shifts your brain from projecting into an uncertain future to engaging with the present moment. It's actually a practice in being present. And that shift really matters. What this means is the answer to the Sunday Scaries is neither white-knuckling through Sunday evening nor distracting yourself until Monday arrives and avoiding it all. It's actually making small, deliberate steps that move you forward and allow you to release the anxiety that you're holding. Step one is a pre-planning ritual of sorts. Before you open a planner or look at your calendar or do any kind of work to prepare yourself, you need to create the conditions that make planning feel possible instead of overwhelming, especially because you're trying to move past anxiety. Trying to do that in the anxious state is going to work against you. So what I'm talking about isn't so much a relaxation routine as a way to enter the right headspace, to create the kind of calm, focused attention that lets you think clearly and make the best decisions. And here's how you can do that. Prep your environment. Find or create a space that feels clean and settled. Clutter in your environment tends to create clutter in your thinking. Your space doesn't have to be pristine, but a clear surface, a cozy corner, those things can signal to your brain that this is a dedicated, intentional space ready for you to make some decisions and take some action. Turn off your notifications. That includes sounds, vibrations, and visuals. And it doesn't have to be a long time, so don't panic and worry that you're going to be away from the action for too long. Even 5 or 10 minutes can work. You don't need a lot of time to take the action you need to feel better, reduce the anxiety, and be prepared. But for that time that you are making these decisions and making these plans, you are not available. Remove those distractions and your nervous system will feel the difference. Take a few cleansing breaths before you start. You don't need a full breathing exercise, just a conscious pause to calm your nervous system. A few slower, deliberate breaths signal a shift into a different kind of attention. We've talked about breathing as an option for the nervous system, and some are super simple. When you are trying to calm yourself down, one of the most important tactics is to make sure that your exhale is a bit longer. It's on the exhale that you will create more calm. So you just need a few of those before you start. This way it signals your body that you are letting go of the worry and the stress, and you are getting into focused attention. Last, but definitely not least, do a mind sweep. Get everything out of your head and onto paper. Tasks, worries, things you haven't dealt with, things you're afraid you'll forget that you've been thinking about. And the goal isn't to solve any of it right now. It's not even to organize it right now. The goal is to stop holding it in your head, because your brain is not a storage system. It's a thinking system. You want to create space for those decisions. Research published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that writing down pending tasks frees up working memory and reduces rumination, which is exactly what we're trying to accomplish here. So this is setting you up to make better decisions, and it's already working to calm your anxiety. That mental loop of cycling through the same worries, you're going to calm that even by doing a mind sweep. And then you'll have the data for planning as well. I talk about doing a mind sweep whenever you're overwhelmed and need to focus, and highly recommend it for weekly planning. So it makes sense that it's essential to be prepared for fighting the Sunday scaries. And speaking of writing things down, if you're someone who processes better through writing, journaling can also work here too, especially if something specific is weighing on you or you're feeling particularly anxious, and it would help to process those thoughts and feelings. See, the mind sweep is more of a disorganized list of thoughts and tasks and plans and dreams and things that you want to capture so you can figure out where to put it. But you might also want to journal out your worries and your current situation. Taking time to write that out and acknowledge it can help you move into planning with a clearer head. The second part of this is how you're planning. Here's where I want to gently challenge something that you might believe about weekly planning, that doing it well means doing it thoroughly. I don't mean to say you don't want to do it well, but if you're thinking that a good plan covers every day, every task, every contingency, you're going to set yourself up for frustration and potentially failure. It doesn't. In fact, I talk about how overplanning actually hinders you in episode 133. Too much detail can actually work against you. It creates rigidity, sets up expectations that real life will disrupt. It will. Life will life you. And then you feel like you failed before Tuesday even arrives. It's so frustrating. Not to mention the fact that it can take a lot more time and energy that then becomes a waste. So all that work that you did to plan so many details is now wasted because life lifed. The antidote isn't less planning, to be clear. It's minimum effective planning. It's about planning just enough to feel oriented and calm to be able to face the week proactively. That can look differently depending upon your energy, the season of life you're in, or even the time you have available on a Sunday, for example. Most often, I'll lay out a light skeleton plan for the week. A few anchor points, the key commitments, and one thing each day that really matters that I need to get done. This is the basis for my minimum effective day mini training, which works well anytime in your life, but is especially useful during busy or overwhelming periods, which unfortunately feel more and more common for us. It allows for flexibility and freedom to change things up, but it incorporates the most important elements and gives you the direction you need. When time and energy are extra tight, I'll limit my planning even more and focus on Monday only. When you know what the priority is and what the non-negotiables are for the very next day, that's enough to take the edge off Sunday evening. When I do this, I build time into Monday to finish mapping out the rest of the week. And again, it can be on a very skeleton basis, a general overarching framework, but I build time in on Monday to set that up. So this way, I have to do even less on Sunday. Just figure out what I'm doing the next day. One day at a time can be so helpful. And I'll tell you, that approach has saved many a Sunday for me. See, the key here is to have something to guide you and help you be proactive. You're removing decision fatigue and uncertainty. And that's what your nervous system is actually asking for when Sunday dread arrives. If you're interested in the minimum effective day approach and you want more details on that, you'll want to check out episode 306, Planning a Day That Works for You. It walks you through a practical framework for designing one day at a time and links directly to the on-demand training that you can purchase, which you can also find on the resources page of the positivelyproductive.com website. Again, that's the minimum effective day mini training. With all of this, you want to make the timing work for you. Although we're talking about the Sunday Scaries, which is very common, this doesn't have to happen on a Sunday. If you have a different weekly schedule, whatever day of the week ends your weekend may be the day you feel the dread. Whatever pattern you have of time off and time back on can elicit similar feelings, even when coming from a vacation. The principles of approaching going back to work, getting back into the routine, back into the game, whatever it is, apply no matter the day or the time. Also, you want to approach your weekly reset planning in a way that aligns with your natural energy and your schedule, and that looks different for everyone. If you're a morning person, early Sunday might be your sweet spot. It's quiet and it's before the day has a chance to fill up and you get your work out of the way and then you can enjoy the rest of the day. If your energy peaks later, Sunday evening might be the time. After you've had your full day off and the day has wound down, you settle in to prepare yourself. And if Sunday is genuinely your day of rest or you're busy with something else, whether it's the one day you're protecting for recharging or you have a lot of things going on and it's not practical to do the planning work then, maybe Saturday is your best choice. There's no rule that says this has to happen on Sunday or the day before you go back to work or get back into your routine. Just because that's when the anxiety tends to show up doesn't mean that's when you can fix the anxiety. As a matter of fact, you can do a preemptive strike earlier if it works for you. Work in your own window on your own terms. That's the whole point of this. It's the whole point of every conversation we have here. I've even been known to plan ahead on a Friday afternoon if I know the weekend is going to be busy. And what's nice about the Friday afternoon is the work week has ramped down And it's not yet Friday night where I might be doing something fun, but also let's be realistic. A lot of times something fun is me just being happy to be home. But the Friday afternoon, that gap in between where there's not a lot of demand or places that I need to be, can be an awesome time for me to sit there and go through what's going to happen next week and get that all set. And then I have Saturday and Sunday open to do what I want. Choosing your planning time intentionally rather than letting the anxiety choose it for you is the way to go. Scheduled, protected, and paired with that calming ritual that you just built, that's what changes Sunday from something you endure, something you dread, to something that really works for you. And also can potentially be more restorative as a result. When you take these steps, you're not just managing anxiety, you're changing your relationship with the week ahead, and that's so important. And changing that relationship, that does amazing things for your productivity. Instead of Monday arriving unwelcome, it arrives with you at least ready to handle it. I'm not going to pretend that Monday morning will ever be your bestie. It certainly hasn't been mine. But at least you're meeting it head on. You've thought about it, you've made some decisions, you know what matters first, and the proactive approach is going to make whatever happens so much easier for you to handle. Does that sound good? Are you ready to try it? For the next cycle that you have, the next time you have a weekend or time off, and then you're going back to work and back into a routine, I want you to give these steps a try. And I'd love to hear how you approach your weekly transition. If there's something that you already do that really helps you, or maybe something that resonated from today. What works for you and what have you tried? I'd love to know. You can reach me through the website or find me on social media. DM me. I always reply. If you want to go deeper on stress and planning, the things that we talked about today, then be sure to check out posts and related episodes at positivelyproductive.com/podcast. It's basically blog posts you can read with built-in players, or you can look at the playlists and search for keywords on related topics to find any of the episodes I've mentioned or any other episodes related to topics you're interested in. And if you'd like some direct support in planning, you can try the mini training, which is on the resources page of the positivelyproductive.com website, or you can check out the Clarity Call option, a first-time one-to-one coaching session just right for setting up a schedule or building a new habit. Those first steps that are going to make such a difference for living better and with less anxiety. Here's to a Sunday that works for you and a Monday that doesn't catch you off guard. Thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. I hope this episode inspired you, and I encourage you to think about one action you can take based on today's topic. Then share it with me so I can cheer you on. Go to positivelyproductive.com to connect with me, read blog posts, and access links from each episode and download resources.